Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us until now. Our last speaker for today, disturbing cybercrime in the Middle East and North Africa, the power of intelligence sharing and collaboration. And our speaker is the Regional Sales Director of Group PIB. Please put your hand together one last time. Mohammad, Flaifel.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Sorry to be the last one to keep you waiting in this room. Hopefully, it will be a light and quick session. The purpose is just to share some information, some insights of what we know in Group IB and what we have learned during the past years. So, our topic today actually does not affect individuals, organization, or a single country. Actually, we're not targeting to talk about this one. We're targeting the whole MENA region because we are one region and we see most of the attack landscape. We see most of the threats are similar to each other, and we have a main concern like all countries around this region. So, cybercrime has become the most pressing challenge in the whole world, actually, not just in the MENA region. And MENA region is not an exception. We're seeing a lot of and rapid digital transformation, and it's happening very quickly, which gives the attacker the opportunity to find ways to find their attack methods and update complex attack targeted methods in order to steal money, in order to destroy reputation for governments or for organization, especially when we talk about large, big organizations across the whole MENA region. With this, let's just quickly go through the cybercrime landscape in MENA. And the MENA region, basically, as we said, is having a surge in cybercrime. We're seeing a rise of 65% in ransomware and data breaches. The average ransomware incident is around 8 million, as we see. The most of the attacks, or 94% of the attacks, is financially motivated. Means there are some people making their living and their money out of these attacks, and they will continue to develop a lot of methods, a lot of techniques in order to keep making this money from this region or maybe other regions. We're seeing also more of impersonation and hacktivist attacks. This is due to certain political and geopolitical situation within the MENA region, as we said. Also, nation-state threats, it's increasing in a big time, and we are seeing this across the whole MENA region, as I was saying. The challenges, our key challenges, let's say, about in the cybercrime landscape. First of all, we have the fragmented regulatory landscape. In the MENA ISC, we have different countries, different laws. It varies between one country to another. We don't have a harmonized and I would say a unified understanding for the regulatory and for the threat landscape. Why? For many reasons. Because there is not yet the trust between different cross-border organizations or cross-border countries. We are also seeing one of the challenges is the cybersecurity maturity. When we say maturity, basically, the organization being able to protect, detect, respond, and recover from a cybercrime and from an attack, which that involves the organizations to be highly skilled, and they have a lot of understanding of the threat landscape, how the attack is happening, and how to perform at the right stage to protect themselves against the attack. The other challenge we see also is the incident reporting. Many of the organizations, they don't have a clear guideline how to report incidents. Many of them, they are afraid just to report an incident, either because of the reputation or because they don't want to, for example, to show that they have been affected. And many of the organizations, for example, they choose to pay. This is the problem. Many of the organizations, especially in ransomware, they decided, and 50% of them, they choose to pay rather than reporting an incident and acting how to maybe work with certain law enforcement or other organizations in order to discover more about the incident, work on it, and respond to it in the rightly manner. Across many countries in the region, we have resources constraints. When we say that they don't have the right investment in cybersecurity, or we know that some countries, they have a lot of investment, but we're talking about the whole MENA region. Many of them, they don't invest a lot in cybersecurity, either in skills or in technology or infrastructure, and they're still way behind the attacker and the advanced skills of the attackers and groups. Law enforcement has the same, because we are talking about a wide region. So many law enforcement units are highly skilled, while others need still to invest in their skills, in their techniques, and in education, and to give them forensic labs, and to give them a lot of insight about the attacks. So we need to invest a lot of the law enforcement units in order to make them ready for such attacks. And of course, as we see for the past years, always the geopolitical tension and conflicts is one of the challenges here, because it keeps evolving the threat landscape, the cybercrime landscape. We have tension, geopolitical tension, which may raise some issues between neighboring countries and such things. So how we address this and how we work in order to mitigate such thing, this is where the threat intelligence sharing comes, basically, and it's a game changer, as we say. What is threat intelligence sharing, and what's the definition of it, and why it's very important? So threat intelligence sharing, basically, it's a real-time sharing of threat data, vulnerabilities information, and techniques and attacks between organizations, law enforcement, cross borders between countries, in order to give more insight about the attackers, how they work, how you profile them, how you address, how you track them, or how to find them within your organization. And it always helps in a proactive defense and rapid response. If you have a lot of information about the attacker, then you know how to respond to those attackers. How you, instead of waiting for the attacker to come to you and attack you, you will be hunting for the attackers before they come. And this is why threat intelligence sharing is so important. One of the primary benefits of threat intelligence sharing is the building an early warning system. So instead of waiting until the attack escalates and become an issue and big incident for you, no, you will have an early warning system across countries or organizations or law enforcement to warn everyone about the attacks and how it's happening and all information about it, so the others to be able to be ready for such an attack. So you will minimize number of victims within this attack cycle. And it improves the threat analysis, because you will have multiple minds working on the attack from different mindsets, from different territories, from different countries, from different organizations. Everyone will be studying the attacks and doing his analysis or her analysis. So this will help to improve the analysis and more quality of data and information about the threats and attacks itself. And definitely, it enhances the resilience, because the less impact you suffer from the attack means that you will be less. It's easy for you to recover faster, and it will be easier for you to respond and not just be a victim and try to recover for a couple of months or or more for such an attack. But still, when we talk about threat intelligence sharing, we see a lot of challenges. Such challenges is the trust defect. It rises because you have multiple organizations. Some of them are governments, some of them are private. You have multiple countries, different laws and regulations, and you need to build the trust between these countries, how to share the information. Because the most important thing is the privacy and the information, and can I share this information with another entity or no? So there is always this trust issues, especially when you talk across borders. Legal and regulatory barrier is also one of the challenges for the threat intelligence sharing. Basically, every country has its own law, and they don't have a standard law for threat intelligence sharing, for example, or they don't have a standard how to share information or how to share the data between each other. They need to work on maybe a better way of understanding these laws and how to enhance it for such sharing. Finally, the technical incompatibility, because we are talking about multiple organizations, we're talking about multiple countries, then there is different technologies. They need to go back to use the standard protocols in order to address such sharing. They need to go back for standard CTI, for example, sharing, and how to work on that, rather than using different technologies from different vendors, from different partners, which will have not compatibility between these organizations. So how we work on all of this, where comes the power of partnership. This where it comes that we need to have a unified and empowered front facing those attackers, cyber criminals, and we can always work together to address this concern. Number one, you need to establish the trust. As I said, organizations, they have issues in order how to share information between each other. So a mutual NDA can help this one. So all organizations will be more comfortable to understand how the data is treated, how the data is shared, where the data is used, and they can protect the privacy of their information and data. You need to have joint meetings and task force between different organizations, whether it's private or public, and across countries. This will, as I said, will have different mindset and open the mind for the people how to work jointly in order to address such attacks. Finally, you need to build the public-private partnerships. We always see that private maybe companies are a bit advanced and they have a lot of technologies and they can share a lot with the public sector. And the private sector's mission, and it should be part of their mission, is how to help these organizations in order to understand the attacks and what's happening there, in order to give them, enrich them with valuable information and threat intelligence. We need, as I said, to standardize the protocols. For example, within the CTI, it's easy. Instead of going to multiple vendors and multiple solutions, you need just to find the standard protocols to share information. Sticks or taxi or whatever, that easier protocols to share information between different organizations or even across borders. And you need to build analysis center between different countries. As I said, when you build this analysis center, you will have multiple people working on the attack and on the analysis of the attack and producing the threat intelligence valuable information from IOCs, from TTPs, all of this information that can easily be shared between each other through these standard protocols. Leveraging the technology is one of also the important thing here. You need to rely, maybe, as you say, as you understand threat intelligence, you have multiple vendors and multiple providers. You need to rely on strong providers in this domain, because the importance of threat intelligence is the data, the quality of the data, is not the amount of data that you have. As much as you have a lot quality of data and it's very important to customers, this is what the customers or organizations are looking for. And it's good also to build digital labs between organizations, different law enforcement, different organization, public, private, across countries, all of this. Finally, the capacity building and training. With law enforcement, it's good to invest with them for the training and uplifting their skills. It's good to have joint research, R&D between countries, where they all will understand how we can evolve in the threat intelligence sharing and how we can provide better technologies, better techniques, better understanding, better sharing, and better response plan when the attack and the threat happen. And simulation of cyber exercise is always good, because you can never be ready. Regardless how much you invest time in preparing, you cannot be ready. But when you do a simulation of the attack, you can, and these exercises can help to really, I would say, face the real attacks when it's happening in the real world, which can help in a big time. We have some real-world threat intel sharing examples. We have, for example, the CTA, Cyber Threat Alliance, which I think during the WannaCry, for example, they shared information among their members in order to having less impact of the attack when it happened at that time. We have the FSI ISAC, which focuses on the financial sector. For example, during the SWIFT attacks, they always encourage their members to share this information and the threat intelligence information between all the members in order also to address the attack. We have the Europol European Cybercrime Center, EC3, and we have the Interpol Cybercrime Fusion Center as well. Group IB, for example, have many joint operations with Interpol or EC3, either with different operations like the Falcon or other different, I think it was called the Operation 90 Fury, which many of them resulted in arresting many of the cyber criminals and brought them to justice during this joint, I would say, operation. So finally, we have talked about the threat cybercrime landscape in the region media. We have talked about the definition of the threat intelligence sharing. We have talked about some of the recommendation. But what's the call to action? First of all, strengthening the law enforcement capacity. This is one of the most important things. Enhance the regional cooperation. Always you have some friction between maybe neighbor countries, but you need to find a way how to find the right laws and the regulations, how to share information between each other. Each law enforcement should have their own cyber criminal unit where they help in this investigation and collect information and send it to the next step or the next stakeholder in order to share this information. Working on technology and infrastructure. Law enforcement always will keep facing a lot of issues with the threats, attackers, and cyber criminals. So our duty as companies is to keep empowering those law enforcement units and educating them and providing them with secure network communication, with a lot of tools, forensic tools, and all of this in order to do their job. Finally, it's, as always, is fostering the public awareness and reporting, which raising the awareness for individuals, for organization, will make them less fear to share information, which this information can help in order to build more equality of information and more valuable threat intelligence information that law enforcement units, other organizations can use to spread between different countries and share it between each country, other country. I think with this, hopefully I stick to the time. So I think with the unified work, with standing together, we can disrupt the cyber criminals through this threat intelligence sharing across not just public and private organizations, but even across countries in the whole MENA region. Thank you so much.